Hello, welcome to another stitch with me. I'm going to work on a contemporary cross, Midnight Poppy by, I always forget her name, it's Emmi Mustonen? Oh, I don't know if I've said that right. Her work is gorgeous, and there's block stitching, so the block stitch pieces I will do stitch with me. So this one, that's today's. We have had crazy weather. We had crazy snow, then it's like going up to 13. My youngest daughter, unfortunately, was running and slipped on ice and fell on her face. She's 2.5, and her teeth are now wiggly, so she's off to the dentist to see, like, to get x-rays to see what's going on there. Ugh. Oh, children. And then we have an art show for my eldest tonight, which is going to be pretty cute. They're all like 5, 6, 7-year-olds. So we have that to go to. And that's sort of the highlight. The buses were canceled today because of I don't even know. I guess it's icy. I'm not sure. But yeah, the buses, I feel like I canceled a lot. I had to walk to school, so I don't. Back in my day when we had to walk however many, well, I could take the subway, but where I lived was, or where my school was and where I lived, there were a lot of subway stations, but I would have had to walk to the subway stations and then change to different lines, and it would have just taken longer, so I always just walked to school. It was easier. It's crazy, the stuff going on in Turkey. I went to Istanbul when I was 18, 19. My high school boyfriend, his sister was getting married to, I mean, they lived in America, they met in America, but his family is Turkish, and my boyfriend at the time, he's Pakistani, and so there was family in Canada, America, Turkey, and Pakistan, and so they had 3 receptions. It was crazy. Anyways, so my whole family went to the wedding the reception in Toronto, and then I was invited to the reception in Istanbul, and well, it was a high school relationship, so we were like breaking up and making up every week, and we'd broken up, so I wasn't going, and then we got back together, and my mom's like, okay, I'm gonna come with you, but I don't want to be, like, if you go off doing your thing, I don't want to be by myself in Istanbul. So I asked them if my aunt could come too, and they said, yeah, of course. And so we got tickets so last minute. I think it was maybe 2 days or something, and had to go find clothing because she was marrying into a pretty big deal family, and there was a decent dress code or expectation, and Oh my gosh, yeah. And I think prom had just happened, so everything just seems so picked over. And anyways, I found a really nice dress. I remember loving it. And my aunt, oh yeah, my aunt, she's so little. She found a prom dress. She wore a prom dress, like a high school prom dress, and my mom had a nice outfit. But our flight, we had to spend um, like 14 hours in Paris before going to Istanbul. And it was one of, this was, okay, so this was like 17 years ago, 17, 18 years ago. So in France, they were having this heat wave in the summer, and people were dying all over the place. And of course, my mom's like, well, we're in Paris. We're not just going to sit in an airport. We got to go, like, do as much of Paris as we can before our flight leaves. And just being on a plane for however many hours, 6, 7. And my aunt she's very nervous. So it, like, gave me anxiety even sitting. And it was a tiring flight. But my mom and aunt had been to Paris a couple times, so, and my aunt speaks French fluently. And yeah, we were going to take public transportation. Everything was going to be fine. We were going to go see as much as we can, go eat at Minims. We couldn't afford Maxims. And it was going to be great. So we get on the subway system, which is beyond impressive. Like, Toronto is lacking. And there's all these announcements like, watch your stuff. You know, there's a lot of pickpocketers. That was different. We do not have that in Toronto. And like, my mom and aunt haven't been to Paris in like 50, like, they went 1990, you know, but they've been to Paris and they know Paris. And we get lost. Definitely we get lost. And yeah, we get out. My aunt's like, oh, if we go onto the street, like, I'll recognize more if we go onto street level. And like, my mom and aunt are oldish, and I get stuck carrying all the carry-on luggage, like all the bags. And I have a knapsack, and my aunt's bag is like 10,000 pounds. I don't know. She carries a lot of stuff. And we're walking around, and I'm dripping. I sweat so much anyways. And we get to this restaurant that's like just full of beautiful Parisian people with absolutely stunning clothing, just drenched. And I go into the bathroom downstairs trying to, like, clean up. And oh yeah, I'm not even hungry. I'm just so thirsty and so hot. And the waiter comes over. I don't know. He seemed irritated that we were even there. And my aunt orders food, and I say I just want a mixed salad, and she's like, oh, salad mixed. He's like rolling his eyes at her, like, yeah, I know what the hell she said. And then we have our food, and he won't come and give us, or he dropped off a bill, but he didn't come and, like, take the credit card. He, like, was avoiding us. And we're starting to realize we got to get going. And so we're counting whatever euros we have just to, like, pay and get out of there. Ended up leaving like a 50-cent tip. We felt so bad. Anyways, there was this Japanese lady. She looked Japanese, so assuming Japanese, beside us. And we didn't know what time it was because we hadn't changed our watches because we were going to go to Istanbul and we were going to change everything to their time zone. So we didn't change it when we got to Paris. And my aunt also knows how to speak Japanese. So she, like, goes to this lady and asks the time in Japanese, and you would have thought the lady was so confused. She was, like, looking around, so shocked. It's like white lady. My aunt has a British accent. Like white British lady speaking Japanese to her. It was pretty funny. Anyway, so then we get out of the restaurant and we need a cab because we've wasted so much time. We haven't seen any of, we haven't, yeah, anyways, done a restaurant. It was okay. And we're looking for a cab to go to the airport. And we see them and no one's stopping. We're like, what the heck? We're like waving down. And yeah, thank God my aunt could speak French. And we didn't realize you had to like go to a certain roundabout or something and just pick them up there. So we get in this cab and tell them we want to go to the airport. And we were so tired, we fall asleep. Oh my God. All of us fall asleep. Like, thank God he was, I don't know what the hell he would have done with 3 exhausted tourists, but he took us there and like honked to wake us up. Like, oh, you're here. So sketchy. Anyways, so we get on to go into Istanbul, and my mom and aunt have British passports still. I just have Canadian, and something had happened. America did something to Turkey, and they were pissed off at America. So a British visa to Turkey was like $10. Canadian was, I don't know, like 75 or something. And American was like $3.50. It was crazy. Anyway, so we got our visas and uneventful flight to Istanbul. It was a pretty well-known hotel. We got there and because I had last minute asked if my aunt could come to this whole thing. They didn't know any of my aunt's details, like her name or anything. So it was my name. And then my mom was booked under like Kaylee's mother. And then my aunt was booked under her sister. Anyway, so we were sharing a room. And it was beautiful. We had such a gorgeous view of the Hagia Sophia, or the Blue Mosque, and the Bosphorus. And oh, it was so amazing. It was such a beautiful hotel. And there was like all you could eat breakfast, and oh, there's so much smoked salmon. I remember eating copious amounts of smoked salmon. And there's like a garden with all these pillows and all these dudes smoking hash, playing backgammon, and it's a gorgeous pool. And then another pool, there's like a, not a barricade, like a wall, and people or women who like stayed more dressed could go have fun in that pool. I didn't go into any of the Turkish baths. I like opened a door and there was just like these old men, and I was like, oh, I'll pass. I'm good. Missing that experience. But man, yeah, Turkey just has so much history. I can't believe how huge that hurricane or earthquake. It's absolutely devastating. Yeah, that's so sad. It was also crazy when we had gone. Where were we? Topkapi? Is that what? Anyways, we were seeing some important palace. We were sitting on these benches, eating. I can't remember what the street food's called. And then coming back to Canada, and like a couple months later, it had been bombed. Oh my gosh, it's so crazy. And we go through the market, and I don't know how everyone in the bazaar knew my mom and aunt were English. They're like, hey, English lady, or British lady. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oops, I wasn't supposed to do that stitch. And I don't know what they thought I was, but they definitely knew my mom and aunt were British, which was, so they look British. We almost bought a carpet, but my mom was feeling like she was getting ripped off. And then, oh man, yeah. The money, the lira, it's like so many zeros. So many zeros. Like 100,000, I think is like $1, if I'm remembering this correctly. Anyway, so we got a cab, and I think it's all diesel there. And our first trip in a cab, we're going up this hill, and he's like stalling. He's like, "You got to get out." We're like, what the heck? And oh yeah, at the hotel, we were warned, like, do not get scammed. Make sure you don't get scammed. So we're like, okay, yeah, we're not gonna get scammed. We're like gonna keep aware. And oh yeah, so that guy, we have to get out because his car can't take us up this hill. And then we get in this other cab, and my aunt pays him, and he's trying to tell us something. And she's like, no, like, I'm not being scammed. That's all the money you're getting, blah, blah, blah. And we get out, and oh my God, the guy must have died and gone to heaven. I think it was like a $10 cab ride. She gave him $100. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh, that trip. And the wedding was unbelievable. It was so gorgeous. Yeah. I've never been to a wedding with that many rich people ever. When the grandfather came in, everyone, he was in a wheelchair, got up and applauded him. Like, we're kissing his hand and stuff. Like, who the heck is she marrying? Yeah, it's pretty. We went to a very cool jazz festival in a, what are they called? Like an arena, but an arena from centuries ago. It was all stone. Like what gladiators and stuff would fight in. Obviously not in Istanbul. Well, I don't know. Were there gladiators? No, there weren't. And, well, in Constantinople? I don't know. I can't remember if I was ever taught that. But yeah, it was freezing sitting on stone. That was cold. And we went to the bazaars, and there's so much cool stuff to buy. So much, like, gems. So many gems, like emeralds. And there's this one insane snake necklace with these emerald eyes. And then we're looking at that, and one of the family members was looking at it too. And we get to the wedding, and she's wearing it. And I was like, oh my God, that thing was like 50 grand. She's like, I spent my whole holiday budget on this. I'm like, wow, this is a very cool wedding. The food was it was okay. I usually really like Middle Eastern food, but Turkish food there were some misses. There's some hits though. I'm not a fan of Turkish delight. Oh yeah, and all the spices in the bazaar. That was a good trip. Where else have I been? Oh, with all of this rain, I'm afraid we're getting flooding, and that, whenever I think of flooding, it always reminds me when I was like, I guess the year after going to Istanbul, my girlfriend and I decided we were going to go to New York City after our exams. And we booked the flight, like, with Expedia. You know how you can book, like, a flight in a hotel. And, like, all of our money was tied into that flight and hotel because we didn't want to stay in, like, a shitty hotel. We wanted a decent one in downtown so we could just walk everywhere. And then the day comes, and this is, like, back in flip phone days. And I'm like, I don't need to charge my phone. Like, the flight's a couple hours. Like, it'll be fine. Oh, well. The most torrential rain ever fell, and all the flights were canceled. And, like, we called, and it was, like, days to get a new flight. But, oh, well, yeah. When we had booked the trip, there were all these, like, oh, do you want to do, like the Friends tour or like the MoMA and the Guggenheim and that sort of stuff. And we had pre-booked a bunch of them. And Kareen's like, we need to get to New York. She was obsessed with Friends. She's like, we need to get to New York for this tour. Like, this is non-negotiable. So we heard other people were going to take the bus. So we're like, okay, we'll take the bus. It's like, what? Like 14 hours or something. And so we book it to the Greyhound. My phone, of course, has died. There's nothing left. There's, a couple seats left. All of our cash now has gone into getting this bus ticket, like our food money, really. And but who cares? We're going to New York City. And she was wearing, it was summer, and she was wearing like no clothes. She was in, I don't even know who travels in the clothes, even flying. But anyways, she was so freaking cold. We stopped at some gas station and whatever. She bought a beach towel to try to stay warm because she refused to wear any of the t-shirts that were in there. And yeah, they were searching us at the border, and she had put her, what brand were they? Stilettos, like Fendi stilettos, in her handbag. And the guy's like, really? And she's like, I didn't want to risk, if they were going to get lost, my luggage was going to get lost. I wasn't going to let those shoes get lost. Oh my God. Anyways, we get there, and the hotel's amazing. And she brought bedding too. My gosh. I obviously 7 pairs of pajamas. Anyways, the hotel we stayed at was the Roosevelt. It was really downtown. And yeah, so our budget was like $2 a day on food type of thing. And we found some pizza joint, and the guys fell in love with her, and we ate free pizza every day, pretty much. And then New York also has some awesome free, so much free stuff you can do. If you go the day of the show, like a Broadway show, the tickets they haven't sold get raffled off, or at least they did when we went. So we got to go see Dirty Rotten Scoundrels for free in a box. Oh, it's amazing. Beauty and the Beast in Chicago. It was really cool. And then we did the museums on the free days too. We did so much walking. Her in her stilettos walking in New York. Crazy. And then there's all of a sudden a van will stop and people jump out with knockoff handbags. Stuff was so cheap. So I definitely remember getting a couple dollar bags to give to people when I got home. That was a really fun trip, but oh yeah, it's things could never go smoothly. Never. I would never take the bus to New York again though. Oh yeah, and then I had a friend and sister who lived in Soho, so she took us out for a nice meal. And we saw Soho, all the art galleries and stuff there. And we did the Empire State Building, which was a long lineup for the CN Towers cooler. That wasn't really worth it, but the MoMA and the Guggenheim, they were incredible. I'm so glad. I went on a school trip to Washington, and I went to the Smithsonian and all the stuff there, and it was wasted on me. So that is a must to go back and see all that stuff, because I did not appreciate it how it deserved to be. Let's see, where else? I did a cruise around Greece, the islands, with my mom. And that was cool. That was, I like the islands more than Athens. I actually did not like Athens at all. I remember I loved Greek salads. In Canada, Greek salads. And then you go to Greece and ask for a Greek salad. There's no lettuce. And you get a lump of the most incredible feta, gorgeous olives, and like an onion and tomato. I was like, what is this? It's like a do-it-yourself salad. That was another place where they didn't come and take our money either. We're sitting there forever. Like, yo, don't ignore us. I remember being like needing a holiday after that cruise though. Like doing everything and then you stay up to do the events on a cruise. Then get up again early in the morning. Oh my gosh, I was so tired by the getting back. That was my only cruise. We were supposed to go to Tunisia, but backed out last second. I used to love Greek mythology. Oh yeah, this random turkey like chased me. Where were we? In Santorini or something? Oh my god. He like jumped a fence. He was chasing me on the beach. Can donkeys hurt you? They could probably like bite you and kick you. It's like, what the heck? I really like that show. What was it? Oh, great. I cannot remember that show. Keely something is in it. Ugh, there's a few seasons. They get a place. Isn't it in Greece? Oh, okay, ignore this. I always remember this one tour guide that told us the story of how Athens got its name. I just thought that was a cool story. Poseidon and Athena wanted it named after them, and the people said, "What can you give us?" Poseidon banged the earth, and water spewed out, but it was salty. And they're like, "This is no good." And then Athena banged the earth, and an olive tree grew. And that is why Athens is named after Athena. Or at least according to the bus driver that I had many years ago. He was a good tour guide. I liked him. And let's see where else. Been to Costa Rica like 8 times. I'd move there. I won the not move there, but I'd have a like second home there. I won the lottery, that place. Well, I shouldn't say that whole place because I've been to one particular place, Playa Tambor. So you fly to San Jose, and I was like 7 the first time we went, and it was the first year this hotel had opened. And so we fly to San Jose, all normal plane, and then they're like, okay, stand in line here to take, you could either take the ferry that was like 7 hours or take an airplane that was like 45 minutes or something to get to Playa Tambor. And so we picked the plane and we get to see the plane, and oh my god, I swear it was held up with duct tape. It was like a bush plane, and I want to say our pilot was even smoking. There was like this little tiny triangle window. Oh yeah, I remember it all so well. And the turbulation made my eyes and snot just stream out of my face. They let me sit like co-pilot seat, which was pretty cool. It was such a beautiful flight over. And when the people arrived who had taken the ferry, they were crispy. Like they were lobsters. Like pasty white Canadians. Not expecting, I guess, Costa Rica sun, which is, it is legit. Like the beach was volcanic, so it was like black sand. And from like 11 to 2, you really couldn't be outside. At least when we went. And the time of year we went. And the sand, like where your lawn chairs were, you had to, decide you were running to the ocean because your feet would just burn. It was so hot. And the food, like that first year, the parrots. Oh yeah, I remember being so surprised that parrots spoke Spanish in Costa Rica. Like mind blown that they didn't speak English. Yeah. Oh my gosh. And then there's just monkeys everywhere. These little, oh my gosh, these monkeys that would take all your stuff, like your sunglasses and stuff, if you didn't have bananas for them. There's like the main, because it's all inclusive holiday, so the main like food place didn't have any walls. They just had these, like if it rained, they could wind down these awnings. Yeah, these awnings. And so like toucans and parrots would just like come fly on your table, and monkeys would just come be like, hey, give me some food. And sometimes employees would shoo them away, but like oftentimes, you'd have to kind of share your food and go get yourself some new food. And oh my gosh, the cows in Costa Rica, the people aren't like very tall. The cows are like triple the size of people. They're the biggest creatures I've ever seen. And yeah, it was good. The food was really good. Just go get mangoes and coconuts, and it's actually at least when I went, it was the longest pool in Central America, I believe. And it was really cool. It was all connected, like, normal, and then a jacuzzi area, and then wading pool, but all connected. Really deep end, this waterfall that went out to another pool where you could go swim up to the bar. So my parents, or at least my dad, really fell in love with it. So we went back every year till I was 12. And then I went back with a girlfriend. Again, we like finished our exams in university and just literally put down our pens, had all of our luggage and stuff at school, and just went to the airport. And that was back in the olden days where you could like put everything in carry-on luggage, like sunscreen and could you? Maybe no, I think I had to buy sunscreen because 9/11 had happened or something had happened, but it wasn't so hard to travel. And then I also went another time with someone else. But yeah, Costa Rica is paradise. Paradise. Although there's, I guess, some exactly. That's why you have a place in Canada from like April till November, and then you go to Costa Rica when it's not. Because the time I went in April, end of April, no wonder the tickets were so cheap. That was hot. It was very, very hot. And the coffee is so good there too. Anyways, dreaming about winning the lottery, if only. If only. Where else have I gone? Been to England a few times. My grandparents used to rent a cottage, and in Ovington, I believe. Saw the sheep, went to as many castles as I could. Remember going to Annet Castle, and some Hollywood movie was getting filmed, so I couldn't really see it, but it was pretty cool watching a movie getting filmed. I think World Cup was going on too, not in England, but they were playing. So the pubs were really fun to go to. Very lively. And did I go anywhere else in Europe? No, I haven't gone anywhere else in Europe. To Mexico and Cuba and those places. I still have barely done Canada. It's crazy. Canada's just so big. You go, oh, I should go see, like, go to BC. And it's like a 4-hour flight, and Cuba's closer. You're like, you know, and cheaper. All inclusive. So it's hard to, but I need to, because it's crazy. There's so many beautiful places in Canada. Just done Quebec, and oh my gosh, a crazy drive to Moncton, New Brunswick. That's a crazy story. Oh, where would my videos be without going somewhere dark? Right? So this is a crazy story. So these friends that had a job flying in helicopters to for mining, words, so they could figure out if anything was worth mining. And Howie had friends, they were all Maritimers. Had this friend Mike, and Mike's younger brother, who was a twin, wanted to get into it too. So Mike's like, okay, it's a great job to get into, like, it's remote and you got to go to really remote places for long periods of time, but you know, you're 18, it's a decent job. Oh my gosh. So I met this kid like the day before. I say kid, I was like a kid too, but anyways, day before he sets out, and oh my gosh, his helicopter, his plane, he was in a plane, goes down. Oh, and they can't find, I mean, they see the crash, but where, they can't get to him. And yeah, so Mike goes home, obviously, to be with his family, but he's left his car in the airport parking lot, and he asks if we can go, like, take the car. So 4 of us decide to go. This car's in such rough shape. He had to jam like a screwdriver in to make the indicators work, and oh my god, yeah. So I drove straight through to Moncton, which was not the nicest town I've ever been to. I'm very sure there are beautiful parts of New Brunswick. I did not get a chance to see them. And they haven't, like, found the body, so they haven't said that he's pronounced him dead yet. And this poor mom and his twin, like, identical twin, that must be so trippy, is just a wreck. We go to like a pool bar. I think there are only 2 in the town. We go to the place to be, and they have the biggest pitchers of beer I've ever seen in my life. We were on a budget, and the beer was horrendous. It was so gross. Anyways, but the seafood was unbelievable. Got like these baskets of scallops, and they were so good. And because we had to drive the car there, we flew back. And another person we went with, he was a newfie, and he had got all this pickled moose, which of course, like, exploded in his bag coming back. Ew, God, so ew. Well, I haven't tried pickled moose. Maybe it is delicious. I don't know. I'm gonna go on a limb and say I think that's gross, but he brought a ton back. And that was like my 2-day, if that, trip to Moncton and Quebec, and that's all I've been to. I've been to a lot of places in Ontario though, but I think it's time to see some more. Anyways, I blabbed for 40 minutes. I cannot believe it's been 40 minutes. I have done 216 stitches. Nope, I lie. I've done 373 stitches. And I'm at 0.64%. So thanks again for joining me. I appreciate it, and have a great day. Bye.